So yeah guys, jadi hari ini saya mau lagi interview bersama teman-teman Indonesia, satu orang Indonesia, tapi juga di sini ada teman-teman yang dari Amerika, dan we're gonna talk about the independent film industry. Jadi stay tune ya, jangan kemana-mana. There you go. Okay, Victor, go ahead. Please open up.
Hello, everyone. So, myself, Joe, Bagtas Omar Strongtower, called The Darker Canned Asians, where we basically talk about filmmakers, and the love of it, and everyone's journey. I think everyone has we believe everyone has a unique journey into the film industry and arts, and we're just here to share and spread positivity and encouragement to those who have the aspiration to get in this. So, Cheverly, we had spoken before we met. We met a long time ago. A mutual friend's wedding. Anyways, Cheverly, we appreciate your journey into the arts, your dedication, and your passion for the arts, especially the film industry. I know, Cheverly, I want to give a little background on your journey. I think it's a very unique and powerful journey. We discussed, and like many of us, we started as background, right? And Cheverly started as background of industry, learned the what not to do and what this industry. I remember when I first learned about when I was background, that they taught me one thing that you learn from being a background. One is who you want to work with and what not to do on set. So it was a very crash course, beginning course of getting into the film industry. And you started at the very bottom, like many people, and you went through. You did Sinetron, right? Which means, for the English speakers out there and non-Indonesian speakers, basically the soap operas of Indonesia. And then after that, you did a lot of short film, acting, producing, and directing. And I can't forget to mention that you were modeling in the beginning. So it's a renaissance moment, so to speak, in the industry. And like many of us, yeah, we took a little break, right? Because life hits, reality hits, and you can't be in this industry without having a little doubt of reality of, like, okay, maybe this is something that it's a hobby. So you worked at a New York Stock for a bit, and that was somewhat short-lived, but because of your passion for the industry, it basically called you back. Yeah, the film called you back into your passion. So, like many of us, we can't escape this industry, especially when you love it so much that it's always going to be lurking in your presence. Therefore, back to this industry, went to schooling because you want to learn the technical aspect, right? And passion for directing and producing, especially directing, took you on this journey that I think brought you to where you are now. As an Indonesian female director, you made a lot of strides, and you really hustled and worked your way up here, and your passion for this industry. Again, I can't stop reiterating this concept, but the passion for the art, the passion for the craft, not taking shortcuts was your priority and your journey to this, because again, it's the fulfillment you get when you take this craft, this industry so seriously, that it's more satisfying that way when you do it, when you're not cutting corners and you really have that narrow path to success. And much success. When we spoke, all three of us, when we spoke, we're just enamored by your journey, your passion, your love for this. She eats, sleeps, breathes the film, and we just love it, and that's what our about is just the love for the industry, the positive, a positive, feedback, encouragement, and just letting people know that if you have a dream, if you aspire to be in this film industry, it's possible.
Yeah.
And we're here to share that journey, or we're spread the word of the journey, and it's possible. And it's always that concept of why not me? Why not me? And I want to to your recent success with your recent film.
Yeah, Black Mirror was like one of, say, this is a dream come true, because I came from a country where everything is still in developing at the moment. I mean, I know that one of this day Indonesia will become one of the greatest country in South Asia.
Yeah.
I'm proud being an Indonesian citizen. I'm also proud being here in the U.S. Both of this country has been giving me a lot. So back to the Blackout experiment was really weird when we did that film in school. And then I talked to one of my friends, and she hooked me up with this Los Angeles filmmaker, Hollywood, and then somehow it's happened. We made feature film. And then not only we made that movie, the movie to a film festival for these competitions, where at that time James Franco film was on that the same competition, same film festival. And as an Indonesian female filmmaker, I mean, I could say that I'm nobody. Especially in that specific industry. Hollywood is a huge thing here. So when I heard that name, I was like, oh my God, James Franco. When we did our premiere, and it was like hundreds of people came to the premieres, and it was just a blast. And we had to wait. Actually, the film had to sit for quite some time, and finally the movie released. Now it's available on iTunes, Amazon Prime, since last year actually. So I'm just happy. And I have another films coming out too. We have like more than 5, 10. But it's coming out. But just the journey itself for being a female filmmakers, from Asia, and not, I think we talk about because Asian countries, right? But a lot of people, when we talk about Asia, they're like, oh yeah, China, or Singapore. It's not too, I mean, well, people know about Indonesia, but then when I tell them, like, yeah, I'm from Indonesia. Oh, Indonesia, is it Bali? I'm like, yes, exactly where, Indonesia is. So, yeah, so it was such a journey, to be honest.
Yeah.
That is really cool. Like, not a lot of people, make their own stuff, and this journey you've been on, I think it's so interesting because, you said you kind of started from the ground up, extra work, learning the craft, even despite people doubting you, you know what I mean? You proved them all wrong. That's motivation right there, and it proves that you can do it. And I think it's a good message for the audience that if you want to make film, go and make film. You should believe in yourself like you did. That's all self-started. So I know you mentioned that you have a couple films coming up. Can you talk about those, or are those kind of under wraps for now?
We're gonna talk about that when we have our podcast. How's that?
Perfect.
That too.
Makes sense. What about, can you talk a little bit about, the importance of creating your own content? Because, everyone thinks, some people don't know how to jump into it, and they're like, how do I go from not knowing anything about film to making their own movie or independent movie? Can you talk a little bit about the importance of creating your own content as an actor and as a director?
Yes. We just have to go back to the very beginning and ask ourselves, what do we want to do? Because I don't know about the other people out there, but I have the experience, because every time I talk, it always comes from my own experience or coming from stories that these people told me about it. So most of this that I've learned is that a lot of them, they know they wanted to be a director or an actor, but many of them as well have not, don't really have the braveness, you know, just to do the actions, because the fear that hold them back, you know, they have this, a lot of thought, oh, I'm gonna fail, you know, I'm not gonna make it, you know. I think that's one of the very important thing that we have to ask ourselves, like, what do we really want? You know, are we do this? Because to be honest, every industry, let's not speak about the entertainment industry itself, or, you know, coming out from directing or producer or actors, but every industry, you know, fashion industry, we all have this like competitions. This, you know, it's not easy. It's just
Right.
not in it, you know. But us, me, or whomever, my friends, my family out there, my fans, you know, if you wanted to be an actor or director or producer, just have to do it. You know, you just have to go. You know, dive in. You know, dig in. You know, just don't question yourself. And also, I like to share, this is a very important, where art, independent filmmaking is not, maybe it's not a big deal yet, or I don't know, but when we hear independent, some people think that this is a small organization or a very small industry, but no, guys, independent feature film, independent filmmaking, this is one of the biggest industry in the world, because
Absolutely.
you know, it's just, you know, we're not small, you know. I mean, if we want to go back to all this famous director like Quentin Tarantino or whomever, they started from an independent filmmakers, you know, before they, you know, of course, with this humongous company such as Warner Brothers and etc., right? So, like, back again to the point where, what do you want? You just have to know, and just be smart about it, and just remember, no matter, like, independent industry, filmmaking industry, or fashions or music, just remember one thing: you wanted to make art, but face the fact we live on Earth, on this planet, where we have to pay bills. So just make sure that you do, you have the benefit from it. You know, whether, you know, because benefits from, you know, you could actually get benefits from every aspect, from every different perspective or point of view. You just have to know which one. So I created a meme, and my team, they actually, you know, I wanted to say thanks to my teamwork, everyone, hello, my fans, everyone around the world, especially in Indonesia. Without you guys, I won't be here today. And, you know, thank you so much. That, you know, we work really hard, you know, especially with time difference here in the US and in Indonesia. We have to create this different contents, and, you know, like very details, you know, even, for example, like, what do I want to post?
Right.
You know, I have to discuss, I have to talk, or maybe they wanted to talk to me, and then they ask me, why don't you have something new to post? I'm like, nah, you know. So that little thing, you know, it seems like, come on, you know, but to me it's important, because I don't want to send a wrong message to the people who, you know, accidentally, you know, looking around, browsing around my page. You know, I don't want them to see like, oh wait, she's this, you know, I don't, because the whole being here in this industry, like, even though it looks glamour or like, oh, fun whatsoever, but back again, you know, I'm still human, you know, and I wanted to deliver a positive message to the next generation, you know. So yeah, that's it. I'm you know, I'm speaking, you know, at the same time, so I'm reading all the comments, and I wanted just to say hello to everybody.
No,
Hello.
you're so good to your fans. You really pay attention to all of them, and it's nice and refreshing to talk to somebody so, I guess, so humble and still so, you know, in tune with the fan base, and like you acknowledge, like, you know, we're nowhere without them, you know, and for that, you know, you're easy to support. I think somebody who's like self-made, somebody who's just multi-talented, I think that's tricky in the industry, to do multiple things well, you know, and to stay in those multiple games, and the modeling, the acting, directing, and still stay on top of it. It's super inspiring.
Yeah. Yeah. Keep busy. Yeah. Yeah. You keep busy. And I think doing all those things, wearing all those hats, and that's why I refer to that yeah, for that you're a Renaissance woman, because it takes a lot, yeah, to really do all those things, wearing all those hats and doing such a good job at it. And not only that, but putting a lot of passion to it. I mean, that's a lot of energy exerted, where you know, people tap out, you know, and for you to be able to do that and you know, cover all corners, it's hard, and but it's inspiring as well too, because if some people have doubt, like out there, you know, people are watching. If you have doubt, well, here it is. Here's an example of the success that, you know, if you really put your mind and effort to it. And of course, we all have to budget time, and you know, there's something called life where you have to live, whether it's work, family, or what have you. You know, you got to budget all that, and to be able to do that in a span of 24 hours, which everyone has here. You know, that's inspiring, and that's amazing. It's magnificent. So you know, that is something why we all gravitate towards you, and we're so appreciative of you, especially, you know, being an Indonesian American myself, and you know, you're representing, and you know, that makes that really is inspiring for me, and it makes me very, very proud as well too.
Yes, thank you. You know, I'm proud of you too. You know, here we are, Indonesians in the U.S.
Yeah.
And Joe, Philippines in the U.S.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
actually, you know, tell me about the podcast, the Asian, more about it. You know,
Yeah.
let's share this, you know, to the Indonesians peers, to my fans, to my family.
Yeah. So I'm going to speak a little bit, because I want my other two guys to speak on.
Yes, Omar and
Honestly, you know, we started, like I told before, we just started as three guys that just want to connect with people. Yeah, just like everyone in the film industry. And I think it's important to do so. And I think it's important to do that in a positive light. Yeah. You know, we've been all of us, yeah, including Cheverly, kita semua, we've all been we've all been pushed back, yeah, as far as why are you getting into this industry? It's not secure, it's not safe, and it's tough. It's tough to have that around you. So being able to you know, surround yourself and immerse yourself with you know, positive people, like-minded people, so to speak, it makes you go forward, and it's such a relief to be able to talk to people like that. So you're telling me that we can interview people and have fun doing it and connect with people on our podcast. I'll take that any day, you know, and I think our guys will too. And I don't want to hog the spot. I want, because, you know, without Joe and Omar, I'm nothing. Our you know, our podcast is nothing. You know, I think they bring such a you know, different aspects to make this whole Voltron you know, work. So I want it's 80s reference. Yeah, sorry. But you know, I want to be able to give them the opportunity to talk about it as well too, and share, because again, we are a team, and you know, if we're missing one, then we're missing a limb, a functional limb. So I want them to you know, talk about it as well too.
amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. So we all met through acting, I think, acting, and through martial arts as well too, and we just eventually became mutual friends and knew each other. But I think one of the things that we also struggled with, one of the points of making that podcast, was showing, you know, there is Southeast Asia, there is, you know, Pacific Islanders, you know, there's different types of Asian, there's a diaspora, and we wanted to show representation for, like, you know, Philippines, Samoa, you know, Indonesia, obviously, and I think that's important to represent all of Asia, and in the media, and represent them well. So a lot of the guests that we like to have, you know, are fighting. You know, they're fighting for representation. They're very talented, and of course, you know, there's the acting, there's directing, but like underneath it all is this kind of you know, underdog spirit that I feel like, you know, deserves a chance to shine, and we always want to let, you know, whether they're really experienced or just kind of newcomers, or they did their first, you know, film, or led in their first film, something like that. I just think that they, you know, deserve a platform, and that's what we try to build it, and where we're heading with it. But Omar, unmute. I want to hear from you. How did you and Victor end up? You guys are really the ones that created the podcast.
Yeah.
I just sort of jumped in.
Yeah. Well, no. I mean, they pretty much cover everything that it is the show, pretty much. it's just, yeah, pretty much besides the interviewing, it's just, you know, three people that are friends, that are like-minded, and just get to them all, like Victor and I said, like, have fun, but also kind of share a positive message in this crazy world that we're living in nowadays, you know? So, and like you said, it's also kind of bring people like spotlight to different cultures because, like you said, only people certain like lists, like I'm from where I was from when I was little. Before I was like open my brain up to look and like look into my own background myself. But I didn't know there was like a thing. I know it sounds stupid, but I didn't know that. I didn't know like there was like Thailand, like people like were like as dark as me or darker that were like full on like, you know, 'cause I'm used to seeing like what you said, the typical like the white, Asian, like Japanese, Chinese, and like what the TVs and stuff put out there, and then I forget about those brown Asians. And so like it was like that opened my mind, and then I started learning more and more, and then more people. So I think it's good to expand someone's mind, even if they don't like movies or everything we talk about, but at least they'll say, hey, I can open my mind to different cultures and be accepting of something that's not like me. Because sometimes people are more afraid of what they don't understand, you know?
Yeah. And the background to the name darker tanned Asians, yeah. Just I want to make sure so it's not a misnomer. Darker tanned Asians is not. It doesn't to come on the show. You have to be a darker tanned Asian.
Right.
That's so tanned Asian our name because we are a darker tanned versions of Asians. So really, when we submit for something and on a project, Asian, okay. Times, okay, 9 out of 10 times, they mean East Asian, as Omar was referring to. You know, Japan, Japanese descent, Chinese descent, Korean descent, and we learned sometimes the hard way, where like, oh no, we meant like East Asian. Oh, okay. So someone like me, you know, that's a little bit darker, well, it doesn't apply. So we have to be specific on our Asian, so Southeast Asian. So, you know, I remember Omar came up with the name of my darker 10 Asian brothers. Then I'm like, because when I was thinking about a name, I was like, hold on a second. That's catchy. You know, so hence that's how we got our name, Darker Tanned Asians. And just, again, I want to make sure that the show is not only closed or limited to darker tanned Asians. We accept everyone. We just the host, us three, are darker tanner Asians. So I just want to make sure I get that out of the way, so it has no ramifications later on. So that's how we came up with. And again, we just want to encourage people because we know it's hard. Yeah, we know it's hard to get in this industry. It's competitive, but when you're in and you find like a film family, as we call, it's very it's very satisfying, yeah. And it's as Chevy you talked about before, you have to take the first steps, yeah. You know, it starts with a dream, it starts with aspirations, but many people don't take the first step, and it's hard. So I always say that, you know, the first step is the hardest step to take in this industry.
Absolutely.
Once you're in, then it becomes a domino effect, yeah. Whether it's taking your first headshots, going to acting class, going to film school, you know, or you know, interning or getting experience on set, even if it's a student film, you got to get in there because you have to experience the ambiance. You got to experience that environment to see if that's what you want. Yeah, it's very easy to watch films on TV and be inspired by it, but there's actual work that needs to be done when you're on set or when you're an actor. You got to audition, you got to take headshots, you got to practice. It's a craft, you know, and just like us martial artists, we can't say we're martial artists and we don't practice. You know what I mean? So you have to practice. You have to really respect the arts because it's an art. It's a fine art. So you know, I that's why we really appreciate how you really approach this, and you know, just not cutting corners. I loved when you said I don't want to cut corners. I'm like, oh, you know, it's great, and it's so inspiring because you really love and appreciate the arts, and that you can't go wrong with that.
Sure. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
So,
My team is like, can we ask you a question? I'm like, guys, go ahead. It's like it's limited time. We have like 30 minutes. You know, how long have we been talking?
right.
So yeah, actually also speak about the you know, like we need to find the family in this industry. You know, I agree with you. and especially because like as like my journey, I work with different type of kind of filmmakers, and I love all of them, but then for now, I really wanted to just have like my family, so when I wanted to make this movies, I have my families ready to go with me, because as an independent filmmaker, I mean, we have the similarity of the motion pictures, but then also we have this thing that we have to work out in a way. So I agree with that, and then also back to the like just do it, like I remember, I think it was James Cameron or Martin Scorsese said, if you wanted to be a filmmaker, just pick up the camera and shoot something, a film, something like that, just it's a matter of like just go and do it, and not to think, just, I mean, we wanted to like think about how we're going to actually make it, but if we have that thought, then it's just gonna like stop us. And film school is really good also, like auditions is really good too, because like in Indonesia, I don't know if we have audition for crew, but I knew that here in the US, Hollywood, we also have audition for directors and those others hats. So with me, like personally, like I really wanted to encourage newcomers, actresses, models, from my country or from wherever it is around the globe. Like, if you wanted to do like what you want to do, you just have to move forward. You just never stop. And then once you're in it, just remember one thing. It's easy to become famous. You could like, especially nowadays, you wanted to be famous, just have your social media crowded, then you are famous already. But then in the industry, you really have to know which are the specific categories that you wanted to, and then maintains them. This is one of the hardest part to be in this industry, is to maintain this career, maintains your name, maintains your project, just to be steady. This is, to me at least, I don't know about you guys, but to me it's like this is one of the hardest part. So yeah.
I think we have a question here from Risk One, if I'm not mistaken. To Cheverly and Victor, as an Indonesian based in the US, what are the differences about the industry in Indonesia and USA? Let me tackle, because my answer is probably going to be brief, because Risco Wan, I haven't worked in Indonesia ever, as far as the film industry. I want to. That's one of my goals, because again, I came from, so a little background about me. I was born in Jakarta, the Menteng Atas, when I was 2 years old. When I was 2 years old. I came to the United States when I was 2.5 years old. Jadi, I haven't developed the Indonesian language in me yet. So, it was, when I came here, it was like, okay, I have to learn a different language, and I stuck with it. Yeah. So, my goal, my dream is to work in my native country. I just want to. I mean, I want to work internationally, but of course, internationally, Indonesia is my number one priority. I would love to work with that. And in fact, I'm talking to a few people per se regarding that, because I want my dream to come true. As far as living, the difference of the United States as an Indonesian, Indonesia is or Indonesians are still like a lot of people don't know where Indonesia is. Let's to be honest with you, and there's not many. I guess settings of Indonesia in American film and television. So for me, my experience is when there is that, it's very rare. Jadi, for me as an Indonesian actor, I have to qualify as a Southeast Asian actor or even Pacific Islander actor. So, a lot of my roles are from, roles that ethnically ambiguous, meaning that you can't tell what they are, and then, or not a Pacific Islander, like Hawaiian, which I get cast a lot of, and also Filipino. So it's hard to land a role as an Indonesian, okay, in America. I have to go other routes, meaning other ethnicities, just to get cast. And a lot of times it's open casting or open ethnicity casting that I usually get cast for.
Oke, gimana pemirsa? Pemirsa yang ada di Indonesia, apa pertanyaannya sudah memuaskan, apa jawabannya sudah memuaskan dari Victor? Oh, kalau untuk aku perbedaannya apa ya? Banyak banget pastinya kan. First, I have to speak the language, you know, and second, I have to understand kebudayaan di sini. Jadi ya berbeda lah pastinya kan ya. Cuman ya kembali lagi kepada again, you know, my point is, do I really want it to? You know, apakah saya mau gitu? So the whole point is that sebenarnya di mana-mana dia sama gitu ya. Cuman ya mungkin di sini kita bisa bilang perbedaannya adalah because we're in Hollywood, you know, so we're the film industry, you know. So that's probably the only difference, you know. But then kalau mau bicara lebih details lagi, kayaknya nggak ada ya, karena Indonesia juga film industrinya sudah cukup bagus sebenarnya, ya tidak kalah lah dengan negara-negara Asia lainnya seperti itu. Hello, Prieta from Indonesia. Thank you so much. Oh my, Rarakan is my best. And hello everybody. Bahasa Indonesia, Victor. Victor, he speaks Indonesian. You wanted to hear he speaks in Indonesian? Ask him something.
Okay. Apa kabar semua? Jadi, I'm gonna just repeat what I said. Maaf ya kalau accent aku masih agak lain gitu. Hope you guys can because I came in when I was 2.5, so my language development was still in early development. So orang tua saya dari Manado. So jadi they still speak to me in Indonesian, which that's good because I still have a foundation for it. Tapi if jawabnya agak ada delay, agak lama ya. So I apologize, maaf ya kalau bahasa saya nggak lancar. I'm trying. I'm practicing. So I think if kalau aku tinggal di Indonesia ya 1 tahun lah. Kayaknya maybe ya udah pasti aku lancar ya, fluent. But I just never got a chance to do so because I just been here and again mudah-mudahan aku bisa kerja di Indonesia untuk film gitu. That's my dream. That's one of my goals. And hopefully that comes to fruition. Yeah. But it's looking promising. Yeah. I can't say anything, but it's looking promising. So saya sudah pernah ke Manado. Yeah, 3 kali. So waktu 3 times. Yeah. Sorry guys. I'm trying to translate for the guys as well too. But 3 kali ya, tahun 89, tahun 98 dengan 2010. So jadi tahun 89 oma saya meninggal. Jadi saya sama bapak pergi ke Manado and the funeral. And then tahun 98 opa saya meninggal di Manado. And then 2010 itu sepupu saya dinikah. So I had to go. And I was supposed to go this year, but I don't know what happened. So hopefully I go later on this year or next year. Mudah-mudahan. I mean, I'm just pray for me because I really want to go visit. And you never know what's going to happen. So I really want to visit my family. I've lost like 8 to 10 family members along the way since I've been there. So I love to see them and visit. Especially it's nostalgic. Yeah, it takes you back and it makes you appreciate the little things, especially. Yeah, hopefully Rara ya. Mudah-mudahan bulan November atau tahun depan.
Okay. Is there anyone who wants to ask Joe and Omar here? Hello. Hi, Agnes. Oh, hi. Kak Cheverly. Hello, Agnes Putri.
Hello, Agnes.
Sending love from here, from all of us. Okay, so we can actually talk about Joe because I remember you were telling me about the martial arts, and then you also did extras work back in the day, right?
Yeah. That's.
Share the story with our audience right now, live Instagram Live.
Yeah, sure. So everyone has their story of how they got into the industry, right? So For directing, I've been doing that since I was little. Always wanted to make movies here and also the Philippines. I've always wanted to. When I was little, I said I want to revolutionize movies in the Philippines and take Western filmmaking and bring it over there and, you know, all that stuff. But I think when it came to acting, it's like, you know, I encourage everybody to start acting. Anybody that has had an idea or inkling that they wanted to act, because for me, I never wanted to do acting, right? Like, you know, I would do plays as a kid, but like I didn't think I would want to do that as a career, right? So, you know, I started doing small roles, extra work for, I think, student films. When I was in film school, we had, I think I remember my first character I played, his name was Hawk, right? And it was just like some side character with like 2 or 3 lines or whatever. And, you know, when we were done, we wrapped, and the other director, I co-directed it with Marky and Beck, and Marky's like, "That's pretty good. You should continue with it." Of course, I'm like, "Nah, that's okay." But you know, as if you want to be a better director, they say you should learn acting. You should get into an acting class. You don't have to be the best actor there. You just have to understand to talk the language. So anybody who's interested in doing filmmaking, it would be good to also learn acting so you know how to communicate. And then from there, I just took as many acting classes in New York as I could, and it became addicting, you know, to have the story, you know, flow through you, and you get to act as these characters. And I'm just, you know, super thankful for this career. It's really fun, and you know, one day you're just, you know, you start off and you're just like an extra absorbing, right? You absorb what the director does, what the lead actor does. You absorb, you learn, and then the next day, you never know. In a couple of years, you end up on like TV shows or stuff like that. So it's always interesting to see the journey from where you started, and to never forget where you started. I think that's what a lot of the actors out here in LA forget about. So always remember to stay humble and not go too big about what you can and cannot do. Especially when it comes to martial arts. So I've worked with a lot of people who could act, and they've done martial arts once in a while, but then they lie on their resume. So a lot of fun stories. We could go into that, but I think it's about staying humble, being realistic, but you know, understanding it's a business, but also having fun along the way, having fun and continue to support others, bring everybody up. And you know, that's how me and Victor met. We met. I casted a short film, and you know, we did it. It was called Make It. And even before that, I had known Omar. We had casted something in the Brawler. That's something that we did, where this big guy, this Omar Strongtower, you know, 6'6". You can't tell because his camera's down a little bit. He's pretending to be shorter than he is, but he's I call him 7 foot because everybody looks 8 feet or 7 feet when you're down here. I'm like 5'1". No, I'm like 5'4", but yeah. But Omar, you want to talk about? So Omar is interesting. Omar is an interesting story because he's.
Yeah, tell me.
Hi Omar, how's the weather? You know.
He's yeah. So, 6'7" is kayaknya 2 meter ya.
Yeah.
No, 6'6".
Yeah. 2 meters.
Hey Omar, hello.
6'6". Yeah, Omar, why don't you tell us how you got into it and how we met and how you got into the acting industry?
Well, I mean, it makes it sound old, but like growing up in the you know, the 90s and the 80s and stuff like that growing up and seeing like you know, besides like Arnold and Stallone, but like also seeing like, you know, Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee and all those kind of like and then like there was always like a martial art movie kind of also opened up the doors to the world, because like I remember watching some movies and hearing about countries I didn't know of or didn't know they had their own fighting style. It's like watching like a Van Damme movie had like The Quest, where it has like everybody from around the world fighting, so I could learn about different cultures from the movie. So that's when I got the bug got me, when I always wanted to be like, I wanted to be cool to be making movies and be able to use your imagination that you have when you're young as an adult, you know, because that's pretty much what you get to do. You get to do make believe, but also make, you know, have fun doing it and make money and all that stuff. I think the first thing I ever did was a couple plays in like 2nd grade.
Wow.
I did the Magic School Bus.
Yeah.
But that was pretty much it. And then this, you know, and then when I met Joe, it was through a friend of ours on Instagram. I don't even remember how it happened, because it seemed like it's like it's so like your brain just makes it like a thing that's just reality. But like, I think we went through a friend, and then me and Joe became better, like pretty much brothers compared to the other guy. I'm still friends with him, but I don't really talk to him as much. So like, there's like a kinship here. And then because of Joe, I met Victor through that, and so me and Victor, same thing. We become like brothers via internet. Because like, even though we haven't got a chance to work in person yet, but like we still are pretty much, you know, like we call each other Oos. You know, that's just like we call each other when you're family.
Yeah.
And like, you know, Samoan culture and then island culture and everything. So yeah, that's pretty much how me and Joe and Victor met. And then also because of martial arts, obviously, so we both do different styles, or we blend styles together. And so, yeah.
And then there's a question there, Rara, yeah? You have to make Indonesia. Of course. That's the goal. And I think she's directing towards you and Joe, you are too. She's saying that as well too. You guys are that's
I wouldn't mind that. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I would love to.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Rara, like I said, for some reason the last weeks we've been in talk.
Victor, you're breaking up.
Oh, sorry. So we've been the last few weeks we've been in conversation with making a film or producing film in Indonesia, in Manado, and also in Jakarta. So that's definitely what our plan is. Like that's my goal. Yeah, that's my goal. Is to do that. I think my family would like that. My parents would definitely love that. But that's my personal goal as well too. And if I want to bring my boys along as well too, and Chevy, of course, you've got to direct it.
Hey, I just got an offer. I just got a job here, guys. Oh my God, thank
Exactly.
you. This new job.
So that's the goal.
Hello.
I hear another question here. Kak Cheverly, bikin film anak-anak ka? So for anak-anak, ya, untuk anak-anak or atau yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, I'm actually funny. I'm sorry. Let me ito, yeah. I'm actually talking to this. He's a high schooler, yeah, Indonesian American, born here, tapi. And they approached me like, hey, we want to do a film. We want to make a short film about Indonesian Americans here. You know what I mean? And he's writing a script right now. In fact, he messaged me yesterday, and he's like, "Oh, I'm still working on it, but I want to put things together." So it's encouraging, yeah, for Indonesian Americans here, the younger age, the Gen Z age, to want to make a film about their experience, their life, their age range. So that's definitely something that we encourage. Yeah, I mean, everyone has a story to tell. That's what we say. Everyone has a story to tell. So put it on paper, or in this case, put it on the computer, and then make it. Like I said, what did Martin Scorsese say? Just take a camera, shoot it. It's simple there.
Yeah. And Victor, didn't you say that that the student, the high school age kid that's writing that, he's on a show already? He's a series regular on Pen 15, and he's still making his own content.
Yeah, so this is actually, I'm sorry, they're actually a two-boy team, Nathan and Brandon. Brandon, if you guys, I don't know if you guys are watching, but Nathan, he is an Indonesian American, Manado Ambonese background, that actually is a series regular on a Hulu show called Pen 15. So you may look at him like, oh, I don't know what he is, but yes, guys, he's Indonesian. He has Ambonese and also Manado blood in him. And if you guys ever see on Hulu, Pen 15, he's a series regular, and he's in. We encourage them to make your own stuff, like what we just talked about. Make your own stuff. Get yourself out there. Don't just rely on getting cast, even though that's one aspect of the film industry. But what's beautiful, yeah,
go for it.
Yeah, what's beautiful with this industry is like, yeah, there's so many avenues, and you can shoot a whole film on your phone. Phones are sophisticated these days. They have that. So definitely that's an encouragement. Victor, Omar, Joe, what do you guys think about the independent film industry in the U.S., also around the world? Boys?
Yeah. So I think it's there seems to be sometimes there's a stigma about it. You know, it's just like sometimes, you know, to some people, independent just means low budget, but for others, it means there's the artistic aspect, the stories that you couldn't really tell in a mainstream movie. And just because you do indie films doesn't mean that you can't do mainstream films. You know, a lot of directors, hey, we want to make those mainstream movies that go to theater, right? But in between then and now, you know, why not make an independent film that tells a story that you want to tell that might not be so conventional or fit the similar formula? I do think there's, like, you know, what Cheverly was saying, there is a lot of overlap, that it should be treated just the same, with the same amount of production value, with the same level of acting, the same level of directing and cinematography as, you know, the mainstream movies. I mean, what do you think, Omar? How do you feel? Because we met through, if it wasn't through independent film, we wouldn't have met. Me and Victor wouldn't have met. Me and Omar
Right.
would have met. We didn't meet on some big set, you know, it was stuff that was self-made, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that's, I mean, I like a good old, popcorn movie sometimes, but my favorite kind of movie and the biggest part of my collection, besides like the action comedies, is always like independent movies. Like, I went through a whole thing where I started buying a whole bunch of them just because I like Joe said, is that you can kind of keep the studio out of it, and you kind of have your hands in the clay, and you're making your own art, and they're not going to like tell you what it is. And if they don't want to, then you just have to find someone else to, give you the money for. But like, if you independent movies nowadays, you can find way more access to help, because back in the day, you pretty much independent. You would only be doing that if you did one or two blockbuster movies for the studio, and then they let you do your little art movie, as they called it back then. Nowadays, they're just like, oh, you want to do independent? Yeah, here. They're like, they've seen how like much. Some movies that are independent will go and win an award and become like huge like blockbusters because of people seeing it like in festivals. They look at I can't think of the movie. Right? Was that one movie with Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga?
Oh my!
A Star is Born.
Yeah, that one. Like, that movie, I think at first it was kind of like a sleeper indie movie, but it had a lot of money because it was a big budget independent movie. But it still didn't blow up until people started watching it, and then it just spread like fire everywhere. And so, like, you can kind of, or like John Wick is another example of like independent movie that became a blockbuster movie. So you can always kind of, and then they still keep their artistic integrity. So that's why I think it's cool about independent. You can kind of do your own thing for the most part, and people won't like try to choke your vision, their own vision, kind of thing.
There's questions. How do you start making films in U.S.? Who do you ask? Joe, Omar, or Victor? Oh, G Moore. Oh my God, I love you, G Moore. Oh my God, G Moore. We all need to support more of all independent filmmakers in any film. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So when do you guys start it? Like, Joe was back in 19 or in early 2000, or?
Yes. I was making films early, as a kid, but you don't have to do that. I didn't take it seriously until 2005, which is when I went to college for it, which might date how old I am. But no, I think I went to film school for it, but it's absolutely not necessary. It helps. And I think just having a script, writing your own script, start short. Start with a 2-minute short. Start with a 5-minute. I was a little ambitious and a little dumb. My first short film was 20 minutes. And you can only imagine that's like 24 pages. It's supposed to be a minute per page, but we went over. And it was a good learning experience. So you start off small. I recommend anybody who wants to get into it to start off small. And after you finish that first one, anything can happen. In your head, you just have this high. I think everybody who has created their first film and they cross that barrier of, oh, I kind of want to see the story happen. And then you start casting, and then you meet your actors, and then you're directing them, and then you're cutting it. Then you finally finished it, and you're like, I did that. I think I like that. Let's keep going with it. And then you go to a little bit longer, and then that's how it snowballs. And then it goes into, after a couple of years, you might try to find investors and go for that feature film. So I just think anybody who's ever even thought about it, to try it, because some people that I've met, there's some people that started with acting, and then they said, I kind of want it now. I only want to do directing. I only want to make films, and it's through independent cinema that's possible. Through these, these days it's easier than ever to kind of make a film. Back in the, we were talking about the 90s, it's kind of like either you made those big movies that go to the theater or nothing, you know. It's like these days there's a lot of in between. There's streaming, there's Amazon Prime, there's Netflix. So there's so many outlets, so many ways to win. So I really think that it's something that if you had an inkling for, start off with a really tiny, a really short film. Do it well, you know, get a good cinematographer, work on your cinematography too. And then once that's finished, see where it goes, see where the journey takes you.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And then also, like, in this industry, this is what I've also learned, like, this, you know, it's very competitive industry. But then just remember, you know, to whomever that wanted to start it, like, if you, like, me personally, I've never seen anyone as my competitions.
Yeah.
That's also maybe I'm still here. I started back in 1995 and I'm still here. Even like just recently, this girl, she's like, oh my God, you're still here. And I'm like, what do you mean? And I'm like, yes, you know, that I don't see people as my competitions, you know, I just focus on where do I want to go, you know, and then I don't like, you know, like people try to like, oh, I don't think that she's supposed to be there, you know, like just trying to bring you down and we're using so many different tricks, strategy. But to me, it's like the more the merrier. If like people that I know or whomever that I don't know, if their success in their field, whether it's in film industry or whatsoever it is, I feel great because I want to see the world shine. And I want to everyone on this planet shines, you know. Because, you know, like, let's stop the war. Because war is, a lot of people see war is only when we see the war, you know, guns and stuff, you know, like, which is what happened in Ukraine. But I'm not going to go through that direction. But war is, I'm like, wait a minute, let me just, you know, stay on the same topic. So, you know, like, this industry, you know, like, if we, like, it's a lot of people, like, if you really paying detailed attention, you know, there's war in it. You know, because everybody just stop, you know, like just, you know, punch each other. You know, I mean, you can't really see it, but you feel it, you know, as you go through your career. Because, you know, it's like, oh my God, I'm supposed to be there. Why am I here? Oh yeah, because somebody just told that guy, you're not gonna, you know, you're not gonna pull that one off, so you're not gonna direct that movies, you know. So there's so many things, so many like people try to just, you know, bring you back. But personally, no matter what it is that I do or whomever out there, like my family, my fans, you know, like, just do it because, you know, see it as like you love doing this. It's not because you wanted to please them. You love it first. You just have to love it first, you know. So no matter how people try to bring me down, I'm like, I love it, you know, like you mentioned earlier, like I love it, so who cares, you know. It doesn't matter, you know, because at the end of the story, whomever that bring you down or, you know, in every field, they're the one who actually the loser. They're the one who actually lost the game already because they have that thought, you know, you know, before even they do the actions, they already have the thought, you know, so they're the one who actually loser, you know. So keep your positivity and do not stop dreaming because, you know, everything begins with dreams.
Yes.
From dreams.
Yeah.
Yes. Else you wanted to ask questions with me or Victor or Omar, Joe, Jimornya ada untuk anak-anak nggak? Yes, I think so. Why don't we ask Jimor? We're gonna do live with Jimor. Maybe I'm gonna have to speak with the owner. Yes, Jimor. So guys, Jimor is this product that I am one of the ambassador. It's not out yet. So yes, ooh, skincare. This stunning, yeah, yes.
Enhance our hands. Yeah.
Is it okay? So Gmore is unisex, right? I think so. Do we have Gmore team in here? Are you guys here? Hello? Oh, they're not here. Yeah.
I think I saw them earlier. They were in here earlier.
Really?
I think a couple of people.
Oh my God, so many.
Don't send us products. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, ternyata banyak Indonesia di Amerika. Semangat Indonesia, and then Philippine. Joe is from Philippines, but he's American. He's born and raised here.
Indonesian is it's still not a young, but I would say there's a lot of Indonesians here, but out of all the Asian nations or ethnicities, we're still relatively small compared to them. Yeah. But we're getting up there. You know, we're getting up there, and I want to. I know there's a question here about
more.
About the anak-anak, yeah, about films for kids. You know, I work as a teacher at a private school. I teach history and English and humanities. So for me, I always my students, some of them know that I'm in the film industry, and I always have a open door policy. I tell them, as long as I'm not in class, my door is open for you to ask me questions about about film, how to get started, and just pick my brain for it. So and I'm offering it as well to here, whoever's watching, anak-anak di Indonesia or over here. I have an open door policy. If you wanna ask questions or you wanna get started, we all have here. We have open doors. So just send me. I'm not one of those people that ignores IG messages. If you send me an IG message, I will respond. So please, anyone out there in Indonesia juga, if you guys are remaja gitu, if you want to ask me questions, you want to need advice or help, we have our doors open for you.
Yes. So there you go, guys. Ask questions. So
Absolutely.
The connection is starting to
It's a lot.
yeah. Okay, guys, I have to go. Oh my God, and this is like bye. Hello.
Yeah.
Hello. Okay, guys, I have to go, and then let's continue this live again. Let's plan out.
Sure. Absolutely.
To my meeting, and it's nice to speaking with you guys. Live.
Thank you.
I'm gonna have to do this often.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, guys. Okay,
Yeah,
bye.
guys.
Bye. Thank you for your time. Bye.
Thank you.